Good evening, traders. Happy Valentine's Day. And a blessed Ash Wednesday to my fellow Catholics out there. I was kind of getting a fresh look here. I left a little after lunch, my time, Central Time, and so I didn't get to see the finish. Looks like a climatic finish. But let's see what we did. We'll start with where we opened up. Let me get our evening session. So this is Sierra chart, ES on the left hand side, NQ on the right. Okay, so this is our overnight session, and in our overnight session we can see that we one time framed up. I'll help zoom in on this a little bit. We one time framed up, and we had a gap from this point on CPI day. So the top of the gap was here. I've already adjusted it for where we closed at today, but the bottom of the gap was down here. So in the overnight session, we opened up down here close to where we closed, obviously, and then late in the session we ended up moving up pretty strongly, took the overnight high or took the previous day's high, and we opened up here. So then in this session, these are the levels that I was looking at this morning. If we open up above yesterday's RTH high a day, which is 49.89, then I'm looking for support at 88, 86 to 88, which was at, we had a pullback there, and then it was also the previous high day. And then 08 to 10 was my first level of resistance. That's where I want to monitor for continuation. That's in the gap. We had some other singles there. I felt like if we were going to have just a straight up day to day, that would be a pretty easy level to take. And then 5017 was where I was kind of putting the cap on the day. I thought that would be a great day if we could get there. I didn't expect much more than that because that's where our call wall is at. That's where the CPI breakdown was at. So just expected there to be a lot of noise there if we got there. So when we opened up, right about here. So that's 49.97. We pulled down to 49.87. So right there, that support level that I was looking for. Then we moved up right up to 509. So right in between the support level and the resistance level. And that was in B period, we set the IB. And then in C period, we traded inside the IB. Now at this point, there was a lot of funny business in the book, and this got worse as the day went on, or increased as the day went on. And we don't see this every day. There was a lot of delta diversion. There was a lot of absorption, a lot of ice on the buy side and the sell side. Really left some strange stuff. The profile, halfway through the day was one of the strangest looking profiles you'll see. You can see this ledge. It's still a weird looking profile. This is a quote unquote normal distribution of the TPOs, and this is not a normal distribution. This is not a equally distributed bell curve, right? It's not even so much that it's skewed. It was just a lot of weird stuff going on in the book. So let me actually show. We can look, see if it's still on there. Yeah, so I highlighted this delta divergence. So we can see this top line where we had a high here that correlates or lines up with this high on the cumulative delta. And as we move lower and we made this lower high, cumulative delta was making a higher high. But we can see the same thing. So this is where you have just a lot of absorption from sellers. And you have buyers trying to move price up, and you have a seller just stepping down, just absorbing all of that. And then on the buy side, you see where we moved down here and we made a lower low. You see how we made a higher low here on delta. And then if we look, we can see the large lots, through the day, and these are market orders, through the day, you could see large lots ticking up. These are very large lots, so over 100 lots on an order. You don't see that kind of diversion every day. You'll see a little bit of diversion. You may see diversion once, but not so much two-sided diversion. I wish I would have left Bookmap running so I could show that, but they're just ice and sweeps everywhere on Bookmap. So anyway, so we moved lower by, once we got back in the range, I didn't want to short from the previous high to the overnight low. This whole area in here, I really didn't want to take many shorts unless it was just scalping shorts. And we could never take the overnight low. So we could never take unchanged. That's where we found support, was at the unchanged from the previous day. So we saw a lot of selling pressure, passive sellers, but buyers won this day, quite obviously. We one time framed up, even though we filled the gap, we got back in the previous range. We still ended up closing higher on the day. So we put in a gap, we filled that gap, we moved value up. We left a set of singles above the IB, closed above those singles. 1.3 million in volume, positive 23,000 in delta, and I think about 10,000 of that was large lots alone. 9,000 of that was large lots alone. So strong buying, in my opinion. And I think this goes back to what I was saying a couple of days ago, whenever we had this gap down, that the market has been moving up for 15 weeks, and there's a lot of people that are waiting for some kind of opportunity to buy, and buy at good prices. I'm not talking about day traders looking for a 10 handle pullback, but people that are looking for a 100-point pullback or a 200-point pullback to get involved in this market. So I don't know why. I don't know if that's what it was, but that's my assumption. I think we had a lot of old business in this liquidation. We had this elongated profile, but I think we had a lot of new business buying. And we had a lot of new business selling too, but we see which side won the battle today anyway. So we've closed a lot of this gap. We've left some singles in the profile. So from here forward, I'm really putting the ball on the bull side to one time frame up and get back out of this balance. So I'm going to close some of this up, condense these profiles a little bit, take off this overnight session, or these overnight sessions. And you see this is the profile that the 2-day balance that we had here. And we closed above that, essentially above that balance area, above that value, anyway, from that 2-day balance. And this is our call wall. This is our call wall today. So this is really the only level I had in the book again, besides the gap zone that we had, and then levels underneath. So looking at this, we found support right where I thought we should find support. Found resistance right where I thought we'd find resistance, and then we ended up closing right at where I really thought would be a good achievement for the bulls if we could do that today. So this is nothing about me just having these super levels or anything, but it's about reading the market and the market behaving the way that we can expect it to based on the references. That's the important part, because what's happened. That doesn't matter anymore. Unless you traded and you made money, it doesn't matter. It's having that confidence that the references are working. We're able to read the market based on market profile and our references to have confidence going forward. Okay, now things work great today. This is what we expect to see tomorrow, and we can have confidence in those levels. Even though today was tough trading, in my opinion, it was for me, and I know it was for as far as I know, everybody that I talked to today. It's just when you have the kind of size in there that you have. I mean, we had people that were just parked on the offer. So this right here, there was a lot. I mean, we could see this volume node here. We see these candles all, the high of all these candles is exactly the same. And then you see us bust through this whenever they clear that ice up. So this was all over the book today. doesn't show up that well on a candlestick chart. But when you're looking at the order flow, it was very obvious. There was some big people in the order book today. I hope we've cleaned those people out because it makes it hard to trade. You know, you see price action like this, got a lot of volume, can't go higher, got full session VWAP, take a short, right? But then you sit in it for 30 minutes as people are just lifting, and you have delta climbing and everything looking like it's going to go against you, and you just don't know. Because whenever they do pop through these levels, you don't know if it's going to keep running or if that's just going to exhaust out whatever buyers were there. You know, you get that little vacuum on the bid, and then before you know it, you're down 10 points. So it was a hard day to trade. We see right here too, we just had a lot of volume put in this area. And once we get above that, we put in singles, and we just ran up all the way to the call wall. So some major forces in play, but anyway, that's what we did. Gapped up, filled in a lot of the gap from CPI, closed above our call wall, closed above that balance. You know, we could not, things that we could not do, we could not get the overnight low. We could not trade below unchanged. Couldn't trade the POC from the previous day. All those things line up in the bull's corner. The only thing that is negative is this, where we had this neutral day where we took out the bottom of the IB, but we left a buy tail in its place. So kind of makes up for that. You know, is the market doing a good job in the face of everything that was thrown at it? I think buyers did a good job today. And so, like I said, we're going to look for that continuation. We'll take a look at, we had NQ up, very similar story. I'm going to pull up my grid here real quick. ES, NQ, the second one, RTY, the third one, all very similar. This is Bitcoin. Had a gap up on Bitcoin. It held its gap. Here is crude, rollover crude. So we had an outside day today, and we had a one time frame up, and then after the release, the crude inventories today, that's when we had some liquidation. We ended up filling some of that in, but we one time frame down. We closed inside of this balance on crude. So we didn't quite get to the top of our larger balance area. So it's going to be watching this for continuation down as well. And then we have gold right here. Gold gave us a nice short early in the day. We one time frame down, and then whenever we took out that bar, I had a nice drop of about 2 points. I actually got a trade in gold today. My first trade in gold ever, and glad it was a nice one. So this is a 30-year. So 30-year bond, we also one time framed up. We couldn't get the previous day's low, and we ended up kind of a P-shaped profile. So, you know, TPOs is skewed to the buy side, moved up to shut off buyers, one time framed up. So this is a bullish look for the 30-year. I haven't looked at the other bonds yet. This is a Dow. I don't pay a lot of attention to the Dow. We had an inside day. Looks like there was a lot of selling going on in the Dow too, and they just couldn't muster the buyers that we did. So let me take a look here, my notes. I don't want to miss anything. That's pretty much it. I haven't looked at the calendar for tomorrow yet, so I want to take a look and see what we have tomorrow. Here's my browser window. All right, so these are earnings for tomorrow. So before the open, John Deere, really? Stellantis, nothing much. After the close, AMAT, DoorDash, Trade Desk. So we have some interesting ones, some NASDAQ 100, DraftKings after the close. Nothing I'm too interested in though. And then as far as on Thursday, so we have jobless claims and retail sales, and some manufacturing indexes, import exports, We have a lot of numbers before they open. And we have business inventories and the housing market index at 9. Nat gas. We have the 4-week and 8-week auction. Waller, 12:15. These are central, or should still be central. Fed balance sheet and Bostic. And then we have PPI on Friday. Kind of looking forward to that. We also have some more Fed speakers. We've got 8 different Fed speakers this week. So that's what we're looking forward to on the calendar tomorrow. That's pretty much it. I also wanted to look at the X-ray today. And this is a very, very messy X-ray. So it just kind of goes to show you that there was just a lot of two-sided action in the market today, even with the options. We have a lot of puts today. Most of those were after lunch, up into the close. And we can see how strongly GEX moved at the end of the day, the last 2 hours of the day. We had the put wall bouncing around a lot. We had the call wall come in right at 50.17, the same as our high time frame. And whenever those line up, it's pretty good probability that those are going to come into play, and they did. Last minute, like jump shot at the bell, but it happened. It's kind of an insane day today. Very two-sided auction. SPY, very much contained within its walls, but its walls moved a lot more than we usually see. We see the put wall, call wall moving up, moving down, moving up. Qs, I think, really struggled. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they tried to get outside of their walls, and they just never rolled. See Tesla. So I've been seeing this on this other indicator that I'm building, this other tool that I'm building out, is we saw GEX drop a lot on the day before CPI. And I still think that was probably more lightening up before the number. But then we saw it drop a little bit more yesterday coming into the day. And now today, we're seeing all those numbers curl up except for Apple. And I want to see what Apple looks like. So you see there's just a lot of put premium. We see the call wall drop. And then we see there's just a lot of premium moving lower on Apple, even though we closed higher. So I'd like to see what Apple looks like here. This will be the last thing we look at today. I haven't loaded on these charts yet, so we'll let it load out. Still in 2000. There we go. There's 2024. Okay. So we one time frame lower on Apple. And we have a nice pullback here to lean on. But we closed below the previous day's low. This does not look like the same Apple. Spots at 184. I don't know. I don't quite understand that. But anyway, these TPOs are set for a different time anyway. So that's all I got for today. It's a very interesting day. and can't wait to see what the overnight does, because that'll give us a lot of information, I believe, leading up to tomorrow. If we can gap up again, if we can open up near the top of our range, we might have a lot easier time trading the price action tomorrow leading up to PPI. So anyway, happy Valentine's Day again. Hope everybody has a good night. Now, see y'all in the morning.